Okay, and now he's back. We have got the most amazing crescendo, I think that's the word, not musical, don't know. Headline act of this evening, no question. And Lisa is going to come up here and talk to you, and then we've got a really lovely thing, I'm just going to call it a thing, don't want to give too much away, to end the night with. So please put your hands together and make a load of noise for Miss Lisa Kerr!
I'm not scared to be seen. I make no apologies. This is me.
Hello. I'm doing well. First time in front of a proper microphone. So I don't know about headline act. You have all been amazing, and I'm slightly alarmed at having to follow you all. Now, Susie told me when she roped me into this, lovely Susie. Again, ADHD, can't say no. She's like, do you want to be part of this show? Yeah, what show? There's Susie, Helen and me, and it's all going to be great. She told me she wanted a light-hearted, entertaining evening. Now, I'm an autistic ADHD accountant. You can draw your own conclusions on where this one's going. But that's actually part of what I wanted to talk about. Is there are so many stereotypes around neurodivergence. I'm autistic, ADHD, and I have Raynaud's, which is why I wear these gloves, which for a long time I felt really self-conscious about wearing these. I was like doing a bit of a Fagin, Oliver Twist kind of thing going on. Doesn't go quite with the usual outfit. But part of learning to accept who I am is saying, this is me. This is how I come, and if you don't like the fact I'm wearing these, frankly, tough shit, because they keep my fingers warm, and that means I can focus. But I don't fit many stereotypes. When you think about neurodivergence, when you think about the hyperactivity, the racing around, the can't sit still, the can't focus, I don't really fit any of those. So I thought I would give you a bit of my story. I completely flew under the radar until my 40s, diagnosed in my 40s. But I look back at it and I think, you're damn right, it's no surprise that no one picked it up. There were absolutely no small signs whatsoever of my neurodivergence. So we'll start with infant school. I was a bit obsessed with maths, still am, hence being an accountant. But for me, maths is actually a real strength. For me, autism, since my processing, my data and analytics is off the scale. So where lots of people struggle, for me, it's a strength. I found it so easy. I love maths. I was really, really dreamy at school. So we didn't have homework. You didn't have to have homework. Most kids would be going, woohoo! I was like, please, can I have some homework? I'm really bored. So they gave me a book called A Dozen a Day. It was a textbook, maths textbook. It was like exercises, a dozen a day, doing your times tables. So definitely don't hyperfocus. Whole book, one night. Love it. Perfect. School ran out of work for me. Told my parents they should probably try and send me to a prep school because I had done all the books and then I was having to teach the other kids because they literally had nothing left. So off I went to prep school. Got a scholarship, thankfully, because we couldn't have afforded it otherwise. I loved my black leather briefcase. Red leather interior. Back in the 80s at prep school, that was a bit of a yuppie accessory. These days, I'd probably be heading for 50 Shades of Grey. And the autism. It's got to be fair. It's got to be just so, otherwise it's not right. So I was in the netball team. I wanted to be a goal shooter, but I was tall. So you've got to be a goal defence, because that's what tall people do. I'm not talking about stereotypes. Tall people must be goal defence in a netball team. I played my first match for the prep school. Goal shooter was about to shoot, and I looked up at the netball post. And it was twisted a little. Can't have that. Autism's going, I don't think so. That's not fair. Because it's got to be straight when she takes the shot, or that's not fair. So just as she takes the shot, I move the post. And she only bloody well scores. So you can imagine how much my new friends at my new school liked me. I played chess at school as well, kind of goes with the maths thing. I thought I was all right at it, till I went to a chess tournament. No one had told me the rules of chess tournaments. I thought I knew the rules of chess, but who knew there's a whole different set of rules when you go to a tournament. So I'm playing against a girl who's quite a bit younger than me. I'm doing this because she literally was. I think, I'll move this piece. I think, no, maybe I won't. Touch move! Touch move! And she calls the officials and she touched it. I was like, oh my God, that's a chess piece, is that not allowed? Apparently not. Touch move, if you touch it, you've apparently got to move it in a chess tournament. But I didn't know that. So she called me out in front of everyone, didn't really play chess again after that. Goody two shoes, probably clocked it already. Total teacher's pet at school. But I didn't have the school song stuck into the front cover of the hymn book because we didn't have any glue. The whole class didn't have any glue, so the whole class got a demerit. Only one of my life. But a demerit, you had to go and sit in the dining room at break time. And you got an A3 sheet of paper and you had to draw centimetre squares and you had to colour them in alternately. Black, white, black, white. A bit like a chessboard, really. Talk about adding trauma on trauma. Sit here and draw your own chessboard. We lived that experience. But I loved it. It was freezing outside. Your way of telling me off is to get me to sit in a room in the warmth, draw centimetre squares and colour them in. Blissfully happy. Until I finished it and then they screwed it up and put it in the bin. Still my best art ever. The entrepreneurial spirit was there from an early age as well. So there was no tuck allowed at prep school. There was no choice of anything. The only choice you got with the food was, did you want small, medium or large? And it was such dreadful food that you'd be there going, super extra, super tiny, minute, please. So I thought, okay, got quite a sweet tooth. I've got wham bars. Brought a wham bar in. You might remember, you still get them, can't you? But they're like this big now. They used to be this big and 10 pence. So I brought a wham bar in, so I was like, oh, I love wham bars. I was like, great, I'll bring you a wham bar tomorrow, because that's what friends do. They'll be my friend if I bring you a wham bar. And then someone else clocked it. I said, I'll bring you a wham bar as well. I went, hold on one cotton picking minute, let's get the maths going here. No, I'll sell you a wham bar. So my little tuck shop was going in the corner of the playground. Got to the stage, see the accountant in me coming through. Got my dad to take me to Booker Cash and Carry on the way in. A whole box of wham bars, wholesale. And I bought a 6-column ledger accounting book to keep track of it. Now, the principal was not that impressed. I got a bit of bollocking, told me to stop it. These days, I'd be lined up for The Apprentice. Then we moved on to high school. I liked my logic puzzles, I liked codes, I used to create codes and write things in code. Again, ADHD, impulsivity. Russian, that sounds great because it's a different language. That's like learning a code. Let's do Russian GCSE. Oh my God. So learning the letters, that was great, but the rest of the language, not a clue. Highlight of my school career, I felt, my Russian oral exam. I was apparently supposed to say I left my bag on the train. What I believe I said after the teacher stopped laughing for long enough to stop the tape, because he was laughing so much, to tell me I'd actually said I'd left my woman on the train. Which, as a 16-year-old girl back in the 80s, was more than he could take. Then we got through to GCSEs, and My mum recently was talking to someone and she said, Lisa was brilliant at revising. She was so good at it. She was so organised. And I thought, God, I'm 48. I'm now diagnosed. I've been trying to explain this to you for several years now, how this happens. She said she was brilliant. She had this colour-coded revision timetable. I went, let me tell you about colour-coded revision timetables. And when I first told this story, I thought this is just me, but quite a few people laughed and went, oh, the colour-coded revision timetables. I was like, not just me. I was brilliant. Not at revising, but at creating colour-coded timetables. I spent half the day doing a colour-coded revision timetable for all the days left until the exam. And then I'd procrastinate, do something else, go, shit, fuck that one up. Now I'm going to have to do another timetable because this one's out the window, isn't it? Let's do another one. How did I actually revise? Let's revise guide night before, work through the night, ADHD, hyperfocus. And routine's a big thing for us. This one actually is more of a serious point. The more you pack in, the easier it is. And that's something that running our own business, which I know quite a lot of us do for various reasons when we're neurodivergent, but actually organising yourself when it's up to you what you do all day is a bit tough. When I was doing my A-levels, I just packed it in and somehow it all just worked. But I now realise that's because it was all packed in, so I knew exactly what I was doing. I did 5 A-levels, I played hockey in the first team, I coached hockey, I shelf-stacked at Tesco at least 3 nights a week to pay to keep my car on the road. I'd go night clubbing straight after Tesco on a Thursday night, back to school Friday morning, A-levels. Homework all weekend, because no chance to do it in the week, but it's got to be done in time to make it to the pub on a Sunday night. And then you start again and you think, wow, if only I was that age again. When I had the energy, I'm exhausted even thinking about that. But I didn't recognise at the time that that routine, that structure, meant actually you can do it all. Whereas now I'm like, oh, it's up to me what I do. Maybe I'll just think about that a bit longer. Maybe I'll plan it or do a colour-coded. And that's what happened when I went to uni. I had about 8 hours a week of lectures. My God, how I got through 4 years just beyond me. But then bringing it, I'm going to skip a few years there because I'm 48, we'll be here all night. Bring it more to the kind of current day. Some of the things that I've thought about recently that amuse me. So Nigel and I, bless him, over there, being cameraman for the night, thank you. Nigel and I met on internet dating. And I change my appearance quite often. Usually when I'm going through a bit of a crisis, to be honest, have a nervous breakdown, I think it's all right. Change my hair colour, that will sort everything. So I've got every colour under the sun. When Nigel and I first got together, I was somewhere between kind of red and going back to blonde, so it was almost, what would that word be, kind of orange, probably. Unintentional orange. And it was really quite short and quite spiky. Well, Nigel didn't show me until quite a few years later, because obviously he decided he liked me and didn't want me to dump him at the time. He decided that my little sign on his phone, which is still there today, is Beaker from the Muppets. My grandfather reminded me of that. So as well as having the Death Star march on the theme tune, I'm Beaker going me. Which he did just for comedy reasons. And I wasn't diagnosed at the time, but if you've watched any of the TikTok memes recently, Beaker has been very closely connected with neurodivergence. A bit anxious all the time, a bit weird, doesn't communicate well, tends to go a bit monosyllabic, me. Suddenly making sense, isn't it? Maybe Nigel saw something I didn't see, or he definitely did, because he was the one who suggested I might go and get tested for autism. So, I thought about impulsivity and impulse purchases. I was trying to impress him. So we'd only been together for 2 months. He'd gone abroad to work and I was flying out to him. We were flying over to Bali, so we're at the airport. And I thought, I want to impress him, I'll buy him something nice. So literally the plane's about to board and like, do you want this really expensive watch or not? Because I'm going to buy it for you. Which is a bit more laid back than me. He's like, okay, if you want. So I bought him this super expensive watch because I thought he'd definitely like me more if I buy him a watch. That would definitely seal the deal. The guy does an aircraft engineer, so he's not allowed to wear jewellery to work. He can't wear a wedding ring, he can't wear a watch. So watches and wedding rings come out for special occasions. Got this beautiful watch, matched the watch I'd got. Or so we thought. And then we went, oh, it's not working, this watch. Bought this watch at the airport, it's not working, now what are we going to do? We're not at that airport anymore. Realised actually, in my impulsive purchase, hadn't clocked that it's one of the kinetic watches that winds itself up when you wear it. But if you're an aircraft engineer, so you can't wear it, when you go out for dinner, he'd just sitting there going, and he's worn it tonight, just to show you. And special interests. Definitely have special interests. So, you've heard of 4 weddings and a funeral. Well, I've had 3 engagements, 2 weddings and a divorce. No funeral yet. He's putting up with me quite well, so I'll be all right. But when we got married, I thought, do you know what? I'm going to save some money this time, because we were doing a more laid-back wedding. Very different, very much us. First one was a bit pretentious. Laid-back wedding, we got married on Brighton Beach. Woo! Woo! It was nice. I thought, we're going to make our wedding cake, because that will save money. Do I know how to make cakes? Do I know how to decorate cakes? No. But I'm sure there's a course I can go on. Do I have any cake equipment? Well, I didn't, but now I do. Because that became my special interest. I think I spent £3,000 on equipment that's still sitting there on a course just to make a cake to save a couple of £100. But it was a great cake. I'm very proud of it. And the last one I'll share, because sometimes Nigel can be a bit mean. When he knows there's something, he's lovely, he knows I don't mean it. When he knows there's something that just irritates me a bit, or that just is a bit not how it should be. So, we had our son, and I went to Tesco and I bought the baby bottles, a pack of 6. 3 of them have got blue lids and blue necks. 3 have got green lids and green necks. So clearly, undiagnosed, definitely not autistic. Gotta put a blue lid on a blue neck.
Yeah.
And a green lid on a green. Cannot have it any other way. Nigel delighted. Delighted. Absolutely delighted. And put them all the wrong way around. Because what he found so funny was when I would open the door and have to change them all and put them back. Because I actually said this to him, and you can imagine his face. I said, they don't fit otherwise. He's like, of course they do, look at them. No, they don't fit. It's got to be blue on blue, green on blue, or they don't fit. But clearly, absolutely no signs. It is revelation to me that I made it to my 40s without anyone saying, do you think she might be a bit neurodivergent? So as I say, it's about recognising that there are stereotypes, and for some people that will be the things that help you understand it, but there's also an awful lot of people like me. And actually, now that I do a lot of speaking, I do corporate speaking and training, and Susie mentioned I'm trained as an ADHD coach as well now. The more I talk, the more I get people, even in the chat in front of their colleagues, going, oh my God, I've just realised, because I'm just like you and I had no idea that can still be neurodivergent. And not high functioning. Yes, I've got a lot of qualifications. I'm a little bit obsessed with qualifications and learning because that keeps my hyperactive mind, not body, I'm like a sloth, as you can see, but my mind never stops. But that doesn't mean that I don't have anxiety constantly, rejection sensitivity, haven't cracked it to your level, Susie, I'll take some tips from you on that one. I overthink everything. So yes, I can achieve a lot of things, but I also still need that support. And I aim now, through talking about it, through coaching people, to try and support other people like me who might just have never clocked it until I talk about it. And as Susie mentioned earlier, she does genuinely have the shots of me writing this in there. And Nigel has shots of me on the train where I started it, but at 2 o'clock today, I literally didn't have a talk at all. And that's always the way. Even when I'm doing the corporate training, I have a complete block. However long I've got, it's like a complete block. And then when you get up against the wire, I don't know what kicks in, but something kicks in and I suddenly just get one idea. And today, actually, I had an acupuncture appointment for the Raynaud's at 2 o'clock. And I went in there and I said to her, now, I don't wish to be rude, I'm going to actually not talk to you today because I need to write a talk for a thing I'm doing tonight and I haven't started. And she was like, oh, okay, I'll be quiet. And she said, what's the talk about? And I said, well, Susie's told me I need to be entertaining and light-hearted and I'm an autistic ADHD accountant. And she said, but that's really funny, say that. Really? Is it really? Yeah. And that was all it took to go, oh right, she laughed, maybe she meant it, she didn't just do it to make me feel better. And as soon as she said that, I thought, well, if that's funny, maybe some of the other stuff will be funny as well. Yeah.